So this is from a month ago from Magnum Miracles. Problem player in session 0. Oh boy, here we go. So I am having a red one-shot soon for my players in between our D&D campaigns. My players all want to use their characters from a previous one-shot we played with another dungeon master. Okay? The only problem is that one of my players insists on playing this 6.5-foot tall guy that is 200 years old, that is basically a steampunk engine from the neck down. His reasoning is that he hates the futuristic aesthetic. So, doesn't like Cyberpunk, likes steampunk, and says, hey, instead of Cyberpunk, can my character be a steampunk character? And actually, that sounds like it shouldn't work, but in Cyberpunk, it works, actually. That kind of thing does work, because it's like style over substance. It's avant-garde, it's different, it's strange, and all that. But to actually be a steampunk engine from the neck down would mean that you have to have a lot of crazy cyberware, and you be cyber psycho, you know what I mean? But anyway, let's see what else. I've told him multiple times that no NPC is going to take him seriously in the game, as he looks like a copper-skinned Hulk with gears and steam coming out of him. Night City cares about how you dress. You don't have to dress like a high-dollar fashion model, but I am pretty sure looking like a steam engine on legs isn't a proper look. My player insists that he will be okay with any negatives he'll get in the campaign, but I know how this player is. He will feel targeted. Like I am actively trying to ruin his experience because I don't like his character. How would you approach this? So it says here, problem solved. I've decided to have a retro boom in the setting. So, they solved the problem, but I do still want to talk about it. I want to highlight this one thing that they said. My player insists that he will be okay with any negatives he gets in the campaign, but I know how this player is. He will feel targeted, like I am actively trying to ruin his experience because I don't like his character. If you know your player, that I automatically believe what this guy says, because he knows his player. You know what I mean? He knows that person, and dude, I hate it when they're like, yeah, dude, it's cool. I'm not even a power gamer. I don't even care about that kind of stuff. I don't care about like having like buffs and a leg up. It's cool to lose. And then when you're playing the game, they get upset when they lose, and they're asking you to make like homebrew items for them so they can have a +1 to a skill. And I'm like, why would I just give you an extra +1 for no reason? You didn't even work for it. Like, no, I just feel like my character narratively would have a shotgun that does rate of fire 5d6, narratively, since they're such a badass. Like, they say stuff like that, and you're like, dude, stop. You could basically, I think the compromise here is you tell them, first of all, I don't think it's good to tell your player no on a character concept. The only time I would say no, which it's not even a no, it's like, let's change a few things, is if your character concept is gonna take the rest of us out of the immersion of the game. So if we're all regular Cyberpunk characters, and you're like, I want to be a big purple alien looking guy that has horns coming out of his head, and he uses a leather whip as a weapon. It's like, okay, does that exist in Cyberpunk somewhere? I'm sure it does. It's like a crazy fringe character. But if the other character is like, all the other players are like, dude, my character wouldn't hang out with someone like that, or wouldn't work with someone like that, because they're drawing too much attention to themselves, they're weird, and it's just like not the style of my character, and it's kind of taking me out of, somebody said it once really well. They were like, you can do Mission Impossible, but you can't do Looney Tunes. And that's bordering on Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes is like wacky, crazy things happening. Oh, look at this. I stepped on a button and an anvil falls on my head, and like you shoot a gun and the flag comes out and it says boom instead of it having bullets. Like, that's Looney Tune. It's gags. It's just like tongue in cheek. It's slapstick. It's just joking around, gags and joking around are good in the moment that they're good in, but they're not good for the entire campaign. You know what I mean? There's going to be serious moments, and it's going to take me out of it when I'm talking to like a purple alien dude and trying to have like a serious moment about Arasaka killing innocent people. You know what I mean? Like, you know, or Biotechnica assisting in a genocide, and then like you have purple person with horns in their head and a silly leathery whip. You know what I mean? It's just like the gag is too much. You know what I mean? It takes me out of it. But I think the happy compromise here, because you don't want to say no, you want to try to compromise, is you tell them like, yeah, sure, you can have like crazy amount of cyberware. You need to take high empathy because otherwise you're going to be cyber psycho. So you'll have a bunch of cyberware and maybe even a full board conversion, and the style of the cyberware is steampunk, because that's like, dude, you're telling me that Militech or Arasaka or Biotechnica or any of these companies isn't going to come out with a steampunk skinned version of a cyber arm? It's like, you can have the sleek design, you can have the cyber arm that looks like a regular arm, or you can have like a steampunk arm, or you can have one that looks like it's viney overgrowth and you could be like druidic. You know what I mean? There's all kinds of like different ways that they can do it. So I could totally see somebody just going hardcore into the steampunk aesthetic, being high fashion in that way, and actually taking it seriously, like expressing themselves in that way, and not making it a gag, not making it like a weird kind of thing, but more it's like, this is how I want to express myself in Night City, when there's biosculpting and you can look however you want. You can look like a walking furry if you want. And because of that, it's like the players are like, or the characters in the world are like, oh, how can I do something different? If somebody's getting chromed out from head to toe, like Lizzie Wizzy or whatever, then, you know, there isn't anything crazier than that. That's like a crazy level of crazy. Turning themselves into a furry is another crazy level of crazy. So, you know, having steampunk cyberware, I don't think is gonna really mess with the game all that much. So I think that's about it. Let's see what any of these comments say. And then somebody here, I'll show you, they obviously, you know, they posted this picture, Exotics of 2045. This is Artel Sorian telling you can be a furry in Cyberpunk. You can be a cat girl. You can do whatever you want. They're exotics. Okay. So they exist. That's why it's totally fine. You know, it's totally within the universe. So, anyway, let's move on.